So, Katie, just looking at the dates, you are 1, 2, 4, 5 weeks and 4 days in. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How are you feeling with it?
It's a lot better now. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of symptoms in the first few weeks?
Yeah. The first couple of days were really were horrible.
Yeah. There's no other way to describe it, is there?
Sickness and things like that were horrible, and sleeping propped up and things like that. But it's got a lot better recently.
Okay, so if you looked at the last couple of weeks, any issues with pain when you're eating, with being sick or feeling sick after you've eaten?
No, I've not felt anything like that. No sickness.
Ooh. Any issues with reflux, or is that all right as well?
That's good too. Yeah, I've not had any problems.
Good.
But I have been taking the medication like religiously, as good as
That's your omeprazole, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect, good. Are you taking a multivitamin as well?
No.
You're not? Okay. So most people do whilst they've got their Elipse in, just to sort of cover their bases, because sometimes, you'll have noticed yourself, there'll be some days where you eat much more than others. And so just to sort of cover your bases to make sure that nothing falls too low during the time, some people do top up with a multivitamin and mineral just through that 16 weeks whilst you've got your balloon in place. Any other issues in terms of constipation or difficulties bowel-wise?
No, everything's been fine. Like, I've not really had anything too scary or too horrible.
Wonderful. Other than that first couple of days, yeah. And weight loss wise?
So far I've lost 1 stone and 9 pounds.
That's amazing. How are you feeling with that?
I'm so happy. Like, it's the most I've ever lost during like weight loss and things like that. So it's nice. It motivates you a little bit. So when you get out scale, you think, oh, look at all this weight.
Yeah. It's very true that one of the most frustrating things and things that puts people off when they're losing weight is it going too slowly. And you think all of this effort for not really seeing any results. So you're right, actually, it's a huge motivation, particularly in that first couple of weeks, because I bet you found the same thing. You lose a lot and then it starts to become more normal.
Yeah. So I lost 11 pounds the first week.
My goodness.
So that were like, oh, this is brilliant. But now it's starting to get to like £3, £2.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll keep it at that level. That's about right. £2-3 a week is a really nice solid level with beyond that first few weeks with an Elipse. So if we can keep it there, you can imagine that through that 4 months you'll get a really good weight loss. But what you will find, like any approach, is after a period of time your body starts to adjust to it, and you may find that your £3 turns into £2, turns into £1. And at that point, that's when we need to start thinking, well, what other things can we introduce? We talk about that in terms of combination therapies of, it might just be starting to boost up exercise. It might be making further dietary changes, or it might be adding something in terms of another intervention to keep it going. And really, that's why, you and I touching base throughout the 4 months, and we can just see if anything else is needed as you go along. What are you doing at the moment in terms of exercise and physical activity?
So I've sort of started taking the dog out a little bit more. He enjoys going for a long walk, so I've been doing that with him on a Sunday. And then I've been doing a couple of like exercise DVDs just to start sort of in, and then hopefully towards the end of the month I'm going to be in the gym. Sort of starting slowly, easing myself into it, because I did none before, so I don't want it to be too much of a shock to my system and start with all the aches and pains and that sort of thing that exercise brings.
When you think about yourself going to the gym, what do you imagine yourself doing there, and how is it going to fit in your life? Have you thought about where you'll go and when you'll go?
Yep, so there's a gym about a 5-minute walk from work.
That's handy. Yeah.
Dinner time, that'd be brilliant. It sort of saves me eating. I can eat my dinner, go to the gym, and then that's me done. Yeah, there's one quite low.
So how many times would you try and get there a week, do you think, initially?
I think 3 to start with. That'd be a good amount, and then obviously.
And is it something that you've done before in terms of going to the gym?
I went to the gym a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago now, which is scary when you think about it. But yeah, it was about 10 years ago. And I did enjoy going. Like, for me, we're always, I can't be bothered to go, but once I'm there, I enjoy it. But yeah.
And what do you think you'll do when you're there? Will you go to classes, or will you do your own thing? Or
I would like to go to some classes. I've been researching a couple that look, there's a couple that you think, oh, that I could do that. But ideally, I think I'd probably just stick to like the gym and obviously the equipment like the treadmill and that sort of thing, bike.
Yeah. And do you know if they set you up with a program, or would you just need to sort of work it out yourself in terms of what you do?
I think you get like an induction day when you first sign up, and they obviously talk to you then what you're expecting and what you want to do, and go through that with you.
Okay. That sounds really good, because if you could have somebody give you a sort of starter for 10 in terms of what to begin with, then obviously you can build it up from there, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we go through sort of diet side of things at the moment? Are you all right to run me through a typical day of what you're eating?
Yeah, so in the morning, I tend to either have Weetabix or I'll have a smoothie, depending on sort of how I'm feeling. To have more smoothies, I think I'm getting a bit of extra fruit in.
And are you making those, or are you buying them?
Making them. I'm a smoothie maker. I'm completely dedicated to that. Got a smoothie maker. And it's as sad as it sounds, it's fun, like making new like recipes and things like that, seeing what you can put in and that sort of thing. And then I'll get to work and I'll have a snack. I'll have some fruit. Then for my dinner, I tend to have a salad or a sandwich or something like that. But when I have a sandwich, it's a bit on brown thins rather than proper bread.
Yeah, I know the ones you mean.
So I feel like I'm still having bread, but obviously it's better. And then I'll have some more fruit or some carrot sticks or some celery or something like that. And then for my tea, I tend to try and cook properly. So I do like my bolognese. I know you sent a recipe sheet through the things. I've been trying to like have a go at them and see, if there's any that I really like. Like the chili's really good and the spaghetti bolognese is really good. And there's a couple of that I'm a bit unsure of, but I tend to make my
Fair
own.
enough.
Done then for the rest of the day. That's once I've had tea, that's it.
Okay, that's good. And what time are you having that tea normally?
It does depend. Sometimes I'll eat it sort of later on. If I'm waiting for my partner to finish work, he finishes at about 8, so it's usually around 8:30 when I eat it. Or if I'm on my own.
And then what time are you going to bed normally?
I tend to go to bed between sort of 9:30 and 10:30.
Okay, so you've got sort of 1 to 2 hours of being upright then before you're going to bed. Okay. Ideally, we'd be stretching that to 2 hours, but I do appreciate life often gets in the way, doesn't it? But it's really just that reflux problem overnight if you've got a tummy full of food when you lie flat. So the longer you can leave it before lying down, the better it is. And so in terms of the food that you're eating at the moment, that's quite a significant change to what you were eating before your ellipse. Are you enjoying eating in this way?
I am. I'm enjoying like the cooking and things like that as well, which I weren't bothered about before. But recently, I've enjoyed like the cooking and trying new things and that sort of thing, which I'm enjoying that part. Yeah.
And do you feel like you're getting enough of everything in?
I'm trying to. I try and focus more on things like, for example, when I'm having my tea, like less pasta and more vegetables and things like that. So I'm trying not to sort of overload myself too much.
That's good. I mean, if you looked at a typical portion size of what you're having, what do you think it would fit on? Would it fit on a saucer, a side plate, a small dinner plate?
It sort of fits on a smaller dinner plate.
Mm-hmm. And when you are eating, do you think you're going nice and slowly and chewing well?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, you have to, do you?
Yeah, because my biggest thing before is I eat really fast. So now especially since my plate's smaller than everybody else as well, if I eat too quick, I'm finished first and I'm just like at the table like, ooh. I'm on my own. But no, I've tried.
And are you getting that feedback from your pouch in terms of, you know, knowing when you've had enough, looking for that tightness between, yeah, and are you getting that?
Yeah, I can definitely feel when I'm full and ready to stop. And rather than thinking I can just have these last few bites, I just think, right, that's enough now. You've had enough.
Yeah. And you're managing to stop then and avoid getting to the point where you've overdone it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really good. So the choices that you're making seem really balanced and healthy. Great amount of fruit and veg in there. I think the one area that we just need to be cautious with on portioning is making sure that you're getting enough protein in. Because of course, when you're losing weight as quickly as you are, you actually need a relatively high protein diet to protect your muscle mass. So it's just making sure that you have a decent protein source in each of your meals and it's taking up enough of your plate. So if you're having that small dinner plate, making sure it's taking up, I would say, at least a third of your plate. So you're sort of having a third and then maybe half the plate as your veggies and the smallest bit as your carbohydrates, which it sounds like what you're doing. You're having much less of the pasta and things, and you've boosted up the veg, but it's just making sure that actually we are getting enough of the protein side in. And that doesn't have to be meat. It can be meat and fish, eggs, beans and pulses, the veggie options like corn or soy, things like tofu, nuts and seeds, and even dairy. So things like the fat-free high-protein yogurts are brilliant. And sometimes sticking a dollop or two of that, if you're having the Weetabix, sticking that on top can really help to boost the protein content. I always think with cereal, it can actually be really boring if you're just having like one thing on its own. But if you take that single Weetabix and add, say, a spoonful of seeds, you could use chia seeds or linseeds, and add a handful of berries and then a couple of dollops of yogurt, it becomes really interesting, something nice to eat. And it adds a lot more nutrition as well, particularly fibre and protein, which of course is brilliant for keeping you full up and also keeping your bowels going and things. Do you feel like you're getting enough fluids in during the day?
Yeah, I'm trying my best to drink as much as sort of I can. I try and drink at least 2 litres while I'm at work. And I try and have at least like a glass when I get home as well. Just so that I am hydrated. I've started drinking green tea and mint tea and that sort of thing as well.
Brilliant, because obviously before you enjoyed cola a fair amount, didn't you? So that 2 litres, is that now water or squash? What are you having?
I have squash, and sometimes water as well.
And have you started having any alcohol yet?
No. I think for the next sort of few months, I'm going to try and remain teetotal.
Yeah. A lot of people do that during their Elipse treatment. One, because you want to get the max weight loss that you can get, and obviously alcohol is very calorific and also makes us eat more the next day because we're hungry. So it's really helpful in that way because it just helps to keep you focused. You want to get the most out of it, and it's not forever, is it? You know, as and when you feel ready to reintroduce, you do. And actually what a lot of people find at that point is you get drunk so much quicker that they end up drinking less than they were before anyway, because obviously they've had that period of not drinking at all. Yeah, that's great. So any concerns at all with what you're doing, or are you feeling quite confident in keeping it all going for another month?
I feel confident in keeping it all going. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult than what it is. With everything, it's like, you know, when you're full, you don't have to feel sick. You feel full, and it's just it's different to any diet I've done before. Whereas I feel like it's easy to maintain. I don't feel like I'm dieting. I feel like I've just made some clever choices, as opposed to just you can't have that and you can't have that and things like that. It's we can't have that, but why not try this and see if this is any better for you?
Yeah. And you're doing exactly the right thing of getting yourself into a really nice, stable routine, because of course, that's the point. You've got 4 months to get yourself to a point where you know exactly the structure, exactly the portions, exactly the habits and routine that you need to do to keep that weight loss going and to maintain it long term. And it sounds like actually you're already there, only 5 weeks in. You're in a really nice, stable routine. You're enjoying different foods, you're trying recipes, which is amazing because that stops it getting boring. You just eat the same things every day. You end up, after a few months, feeling quite sort of deprived from it all and bored and had enough. So introducing that variety from trying new recipes is a really good idea in keeping it going. But yeah, if you can get that structure in and actually make this more second nature and long-term habit whilst you've got that ellipse in, it puts you in a really good stance of keeping that going.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to cover? In which case we will have another call in a month to touch base then. And obviously any problems in the meantime, just drop me an email or send me a text and we can pick up earlier.
Brilliant. Thank you for everything.
Pleasure.